massive day for Gyanvapi Mosque survey.
काशी की नगरी में थोड़ा सा गोला चढ़ा लेने पर बाबा ही दिखाई देते हैं. हरा हरा महादेव.
Hindu side says Baba मिल गए.
कुएं में मिले, तालाब में मिले.
बस मिल गए बस.
Shivling game changer at Gyanvapi Mosque site. Discovery quaking the Masjid-Mandir claim. Suspense builds over Gyanvapi truth files. Mandir tipping point or long road ahead.
Good evening and welcome on board the Newstrack. I'm Rahul Kanwal. Here's a look at the headlines I'm tracking tonight. National Conference Chief Farooq Abdullah's shocking genocide logic says ban film Kashmir files to save Kashmiri Pandits like Rahul Bhatt, who was killed last week.
ये फिल्म बेबुनियाद फिल्म जिसने न सिर्फ नफरत मुल्क में पैदा की है बल्कि यहाँ हमारे जवानों में भी नफरत हुई है कि हमारे तरफ कैसे सोच रहे हैं. ऐसी चीजों को बंद करना चाहिए. अगर आपने हिंदुस्तान को बचाना है तभी कश्मीर बचेगा.
Srinagar mayor muscles into Aurangzeb war, slams Devendra Fadnavis for his dogs will not pee on Aurangzeb's tomb, pays tribute to the Mughal ruler.
ओवैसी सुन ले, कुत्ता भी ना पेशाब करेगा औरंगजेब की पहचान पर. अब जो भगवा लहराएगा पूरे हिंदुस्तान पर.
Students object to Karnataka government's decision to add RSS founder Hedgewal's speech in Kannada textbooks. Bommai government hits back, says, why did nobody object to the chapters on Tipu? PM Modi's Power Pack Nepal visit on Buddha Purnima lays foundation stone for a Buddhist center, holds bilateral talks with Nepalese counterpart Sheikh Bahadur Dweba. And catch all of India's badminton superstars on India Today. Thomas Cup heroes Lakshya Sen, Kidambi Shrikant and HS Pranoy speak on India's historic win against Indonesia.
In the final.
The three-day court-mandated survey of Kashi's Gyanvapi complex ended with a twist. The Hindu side has claimed that a shivling has been discovered inside the mosque complex. The Muslim side says this is only a fountain. Tomorrow, the Supreme Court will hear the mosque panel's plea against the survey. The big question is, what will happen next? Will this be a tipping point for a new mandir, or will there be a long legal road ahead?
As the court-mandated survey of the Gyanvapi Mosque complex neared its conclusion in Varanasi, a big claim was made by the lawyer of the Hindu side. A claim that a shivling, 12 feet and 8 inches in diameter, has been found inside a well in the complex. The crowd erupted with chants of Har Har Mahadev as the news of the shivling discovery filtered out.
मस्जिद परिसर के अंदर जो वजू खाना है उसमें शिवलिंग मिला है और हमने मांग की है कि उसको संरक्षित किया जाए, उसको प्रोटेक्ट किया जाए और कोर्ट ने उस पर आदेश पारित किया है और ऑर्डर पास करके पुलिस कमिश्नर को और डीजीपी को निर्देशित किया है कि उस एरिया को सील करें. सीआरपीएफ के कमांडेंट उसकी सुरक्षा करेंगे और वहाँ पे किसी भी आदमी का प्रवेश वर्जित करें.
वहाँ पे शिवलिंग प्राप्त हुआ जो 4 फीट ऊंचाई है और उसका व्यास 12 फीट है और ये वजू खाने के मध्य में प्राप्त हुआ है. उसको संरक्षित करने के लिए माननीय न्यायालय के समक्ष हमने अर्जी दी.
India Today was the first channel to reveal specific Hindu imagery at the Gyanvapi Mosque complex. A lotus motif, bells and gongs, a row of flowers, Lord Shiva's Nandi the bull, The claim of a shivling being recovered has added a stunning new twist to the Kashi Mandir Gyanvapi Mosque dispute.
अंदर हमने क्या देखा इसको बताने की इजाज़त नहीं है, तो जो चीज़ें देखी हैं और जो चीज़ें रिकॉर्ड की गई हैं वो रिकॉर्ड करके मेमोरी कार्ड में स्टोर करके जमा कर दी गई हैं, और हमने क्या देखा उसके लिए मना किया गया बताने के लिए।
ये सब जो लोग बता रहे हैं वो जिम्मेदार होंगे इसलिए बता रहे हैं, कोर्ट का उस विषय पे हम लोग कुछ नहीं बोल सकते।
While the Hindu side has now moved court seeking protection of the shivling, the Muslim side has called this claim incorrect.
शिवलिंग नहीं मिला साफ इंकार है, बिल्कुल कार्रवाई समाप्त हो चुकी है माना जाए।
हाँ, अरे भाई तो वो कह रहे हैं, उनकी बात सुन लीजिए, ये अदालत से तय करेगी।
कोर्ट और सिर्फ कोर्ट इस सूचना का कस्टोडियन है। अगर किसी भी पक्ष ने आपको ये बात बताई है तो ये उनकी निजी विचार हैं, इससे कोर्ट कमीशन की कार्रवाई का कोई लेना नहीं।
Over the last 3 days, a survey has been conducted of all important parts of the complex, including basements, the rooms above, the western wall and the dome of the mosque too.
सभी मेरी नहीं, मैं सबकी कह रहा हूँ, सबकी परिकल्पना से कहीं अधिक बहुत कुछ है।
बहुत कुछ आपको दिखाई दिया?
नहीं, बस क्या है मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकता। दोनों पक्षों ने अपनी अपनी बात रखी, दोनों पक्षों की सहमति से सर्वे हुआ, और
कल के लिए क्या बचा है सर?
देखिए अभी तो बहुत कुछ बचा है।
The survey work has been completed and tomorrow is the day for the submission of that particular report. But as per the sources, there will be no submission of report tomorrow because it will take a lot of time for the advocate commissioners to compile more than 5-hour long recording in one report and then submit it to the local court. But what the Hindu side is claiming is a clear hint that they have witnessed a lot what they were believing that they'll find.
While the alleged discovery of the shivling is being seen as a turning point by the Hindu side, the legal battle is far from over. The Muslim side has approached the Supreme Court against the survey.
All eyes now on the Supreme Court. On Tuesday, a bench of Justices D.Y. Chandrachud and P.S. Narasimha will hear the petition filed by the Mosque Committee, which had sought a stay on the survey proceedings. With Samaj Srivastav in Varanasi, this is Anisha Mathur in New Delhi for India Today.
Advocate Vishnu Jain is the lawyer for the Hindu petitioners in this case. He joins us live on the Newstrack tonight. Vishnu, welcome. First thoughts on what was found inside the Gyanvapi Mosque today and the significance of this discovery. People who've travelled to that mosque have long believed that there was a shivling. How confident are you that what's been seen in some senses changes the narrative that's been built around the mosque so far?
No, according to me, definitely, in my legal opinion, it's a shivling, because as a part of Advocate Commission and as a part of the survey team, when I had witnessed the Vajukhana and I demanded the Advocate Commissioner to remove the water of the Vajukhana and see that what is there hidden inside. So I saw a wall of a well in a round shape. And inside that wall of a well, there was a huge shivling of around 3 feet. And it was 4 feet dia, 4 feet in dia, and it was opposite, just bang opposite Nandi. 83 feet from Nandi was the distance of the shivling, and immediately we had to take orders from the court to preserve the shivling. We had gone to the Honorable Court requesting the court to preserve this important piece of evidence. And therefore, I'm briefing you the same thing. And right now, the picture also, which is, our overall contention is that this was a Hindu temple in the past, and today this shivling which we have found is the original Jyotirling, is the original shivling, and therefore, the Honorable Varanasi Court has passed an order preserving and protecting the Vajukhana and sealing the Vajukhana, and has directed that the Chief Secretary and the DGP of State of UP will look into the matter and will protect the evidence till further.
The matter comes up in the Supreme Court tomorrow, where the petitioners are hoping that the Supreme Court will order that the character of the Gyanvapi Mosque is not tampered with, it stays the way it is. What do you anticipate might happen in the Supreme Court?
See, I think the order which is under challenge before the Supreme Court is of 21st April passed by the Honorable Allahabad High Court, which had upheld the appointment of Advocate Commissioner. That's the scope and ambit of that order. And that order has ultimately been acted upon. Now the question is, the only objection which Muslim sides were having was the biasness of the Advocate Commissioner, which has been decided by order of 12th of May by the Honorable Civil Judge Senior Division. So now the question is that the order under challenge before the Supreme Court has already been acted upon, in the sense that the survey has been completed. The report of the survey commissioner has to be placed before the court. But so far as the question of survey is going to be conducted, that was never challenged by the Muslim side. And the survey started, they participated in the survey. So according to me, in my legal opinion, they succumbed to the order of the Honorable High Court. And after implementation of the order passed by the Honorable High Court, they can't approbate and reprobate at the same time.
Okay, I'm going to leave it over there. Vishnu Jain, thank you for joining us. Before I go across to our other guests and kickstart the Newstrack debate tonight on what might happen in the Supreme Court, and given the fact that you now have these claims which are gaining greater credibility, what could potentially happen from here? Does the Gyanvapi Mosque revert back to the status of being a temple, or given the fact that the Religious Places Worship Act forbids this, therefore the mosque stays the way that it is? With the claim of a shivling being spotted, the local court in Varanasi has ordered that the area be sealed, prompting the AIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi to call this a rerun of the Babri Masjid dispute. Politics on the issue is heating up.
With the Hindu side claiming Baba Mil Gaye at the Gyanvapi Mosque complex, security in Kashi has increased. The Varanasi court has ordered to immediately seal the place where the alleged shivling was found in the Gyanvapi Mosque. The move prompting a strong reaction from MIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi, who called it a textbook repeat of December 1949 in Babri Masjid. Owaisi alleged that the court order changes the religious nature of the masjid. He went on to declare that Gyanvapi Masjid was and will remain a masjid till Judgment Day.
ज्ञानवापी मस्जिद मस्जिद थी और जब तक अल्लाह दुनिया को कायम रखेगा मस्जिद रहेगी इंशाअल्लाह ताला.
Earlier too, Owaisi had said that the court-ordered survey of the Gyanvapi Mosque complex would pave way for anti-Muslim violence.
हमने एक बाबरी मस्जिद को खोया, अब दूसरी मस्जिद को हरगिज नहीं खोएंगे. याद तुमने मक्कारी और अय्यारी से इंसाफ का कत्ल करके तुमने हमारी मस्जिद को हमसे छीना, अब दूसरी मस्जिद नहीं छीन पाओगे. याद रखो.
The claim of a shivling being spotted near a water body is being hailed by the BJP.
शिवलिंग आज प्राप्त हो गए और शिवलिंग के प्राप्त होने के बाद बुद्ध पूर्णिमा के दिन प्राप्त हो गए, सोमवार के दिन प्राप्त हो गए, और आज सोमवार बाबा का दिन होता है, और आज के दिन प्राप्त होना, आज के दिन सूचना मिलना, यह खुशियों को शब्द नहीं दिया जा सकता.
After Ayodhya, the Kashi Mandir has become the next big political flashpoint. Bureau Report, India Today.
So is Gyanvapi going down the Ayodhya route? Will there be increasing clamour that the mosque be reverted to the status of a temple, or should the Supreme Court put a stop to this, saying that when the Ayodhya judgment came, the judges said, and everyone in government and in the RSS accepted, that other temples and mosques would stay the way that they are? Joining us on this broadcast for a discussion on this very, very complex issue, we've got Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate in the Supreme Court. Sharat Pradhan joins us for the perspective from Lucknow. We've got Tanveer Ahmed Mir, he's a senior advocate in the Supreme Court. Deepa Ishwar joins us, well-known author and activist. Anila Singh represents the BJP. Shashank Shekhar Jha is an advocate in the Supreme Court. I want to go across first to Sanjay Hegde. On your expectation of how the Supreme Court hearing tomorrow is likely to go, in Varanasi, the local court has ensured that now where the shivling has been discovered, that area has been cordoned off. There is evidence at the Gyanvapi Mosque to suggest this was a temple, which has been the case for the longest time, but now there is evidence, there's videographic proof that is visible also, and the whole clamor is building. Do you think it's only inevitable that Gyanvapi is going down the Ayodhya route?
Well, I've been a lawyer long enough to know when not to predict how a court will react, okay? And especially the Supreme Court. But I must say this, that I was a young man who had just joined the Supreme Court when Ayodhya began. I joined the Supreme Court in 1991, September, and those days it was full of Ayodhya. 30 years later, to see all this happen once more, I don't think it's healthy for this country. I don't think it's a country that I can safely leave to my children. This, somewhere we have to stop. In 1991, Parliament, before the Ayodhya structure was pulled down, took a conscious decision that, except Ayodhya, the status quo on all religious places would be maintained as on 15th August 1947. So far, Parliament has not changed its mind. That is the law of the land. There is a bit of, well, plaintiffs can always ask courts for anything. But courts going on into this dispute at this, by a side wind as it were, I don't think is healthy for the country. Now, you have a survey. One side says there is a shivling. Another side says, no, it was just a fountain, and it's a fountain structure which is being... Why is the time and energy of this nation being wasted on things like this? Yes, there was a temple which was pulled down, a mosque was built, but that happened 400 years ago. There is something called the law of limitation. The law of limitation says that within 12 years, if there is no change, and people will continue to occupy it in opposition to everyone, it continues. Now, why are we reopening 400-year-old?
So let Anila Singh respond to this, that yes, there existed a temple there. This is known. So the fact that a shivling is discovered or a Nandi is present over there isn't necessarily breaking news, unlike some would have us believe in this era of WhatsApp. This is India's recent history. It's a reality. And therefore, given the fact that the Places of Worship Act says that you don't mess with the character of a religious place apart from Ayodhya, just let things be the way they are. There are real problems to deal with, problems of inflation, problems of geopolitics, problems of interest rates. Try and figure out what modern India needs, and this is a past problem. Just let it be. Don't try and open old wounds.
My Ram Ram to everyone. And since we are discussing about Sri Kashi, Har Har Mahadev, and just now I heard Mr. Hegde, and he says that he's very scared of living in a country like India, though he's minting money here. He's more than welcome to shift if he's so scared of living in this country of ours. And let me tell Mr. Hegde, that this country is more safer than many more countries. About a few days back only in USA, you have seen that how a youngster killed so many blacks there. So stop cribbing, stop attacking the government.
Madam, this is my country as well, and you are no one to push.
I was listening very patiently.
Madam, you can't push people out.
Attacking the majority
people like you can't push us out.
And that has been so unfortunate about India, because you people are like Jatans. Isn't it a right of every Hindu to know the history, what happened in 1,000 years? Isn't it a right of every Hindu to know what happened to the temples? If we want to know where are the remnants of the temple, is there anything wrong about it? Is there anything wrong about it? A survey has been conducted. The report is going to be submitted to the court. Honorable court is going to reveal about it. So I am not going to make any comment on that. But at the same time, I need to understand one thing. Whenever we talk about our religion, whenever we talk about our culture, whenever we talk about anything related to Hindu, why are we coined as communal people? This country was divided on the lines of religion. 2 days back, 2 Sikhs were killed in Pakistan. आप लोगों के मुंह पे ताला लग जाता है. पर हिंदुस्तान में
Can you
अगर एक शब्द
discuss
अगर हिंदू ये
Hinduism
कहते
without
हैं कि मैं
discussing
अपने इष्ट
Pakistan?
देवता के विषय में जानना चाहता हूं तो वो कम्युनल हो जाता है. हिस्ट्री ओके, यू वांट टू डिस्कस अबाउट इन्फ्लेशन, आई एम 100% श्योर every couple of days or third day in debates on India Today, inflation is being discussed. The real problems according to you are being discussed, don't you think? The spokesperson from Bharatiya Janata Party, they participate on debate. They don't answer, they do answer. Government is proactive and Narendra Modi ji has set an example in itself. So perhaps you might be not liking him as a prime minister. You might be having your own issues from him. It doesn't mean that you are going to target each and every Hindu. So stop this pseudo-secularism. You must understand that we are living in a country.
I am as much a Hindu as you are.
No,
and
no,
you are nobody.
You are the people who
are nobody to define who is a Hindu. You are nobody to define. You are nobody to define who is an Indian. That is the problem. You are the Bharatiya Janata Party. You are the Bharatiya Janata Party, madam.
For my culture, and I debate on real issues as well. And I am not scared at all. I'm not scared at all.
Have you finished?
Rahul,
Okay, Anila Singh, you've spoken. Let Sanjay Hegde make a quick counter before I go across to the other guests.
Rahul,
I want to try.
I just want to add one more thing here.
Okay,
please,
very quickly, Anila ji, just 20 seconds because I have to give everyone an equal opportunity.
श्री अयोध्या का जब जजमेंट आया था रामलला मंदिर के ऊपर, जैसे जजमेंट आया था 3 जजेस के लिए वाई कैटेगरी सिक्योरिटी देनी पड़ी थी. क्यों देनी पड़ी थी? बिकॉज दे वर स्केर्ड फॉर देयर लाइव्स. किससे था उनको डर? हिंदुओं से डर था क्या? साहब, डर ये होता है, हिंदुओं को टारगेट करना बंद करें.
Now, madam, you are nobody to decide who is a Hindu. You are nobody to decide who is an Indian. You don't speak for all Hindus. You don't speak for all Indians. This India of ours is our common land. Learn that first.
That is on you as well. How can you say this country has become so unsafe for people to live in? Shame on you.
I am saying that this is not the country that I grew up in. This is not the country that I want to leave
because
for my
you
children.
Grew up with the governments who were deep into appeasement politics. These were the governments who destroyed our culture, who destroyed our religion.
What is right now happening? What is right now happening? What do you call that? What do you call that?
तो तुम सोसाइटी में बैठने लायक नहीं हो. अंग्रेजी नहीं बोलोगे तो तुम्हारा कॉर्पोरेट्स में सिलेक्शन नहीं हो सकता है. हिंदी बोलोगे या अपनी कोई भी लैंग्वेज बोलोगे तो तुम तो बिल्कुल स्मार्ट ही नहीं हो, फैशनेबल ही नहीं हो. ये सिखा दिया गया. And you are proud of this culture. And you are proud of that India. I am proud of my religion, and I am proud of its culture, creed and languages as well, sir.
But who is getting violent? You are getting violent. You are encouraging violence. You are bringing down this country.
How we are encouraging violence? How we are encouraging violence, sir? You have to prove this thing. कार सेवकों के ऊपर गोलियां चली हैं. कार सेवक मारे गए हैं. कार सेवक मारे गए हैं. आप ये बता दीजिए सबसे बड़े दंगे किसके अंदर में हुए हैं? Political party was ruled.
No, one second. I want to go across to the other guests as well. Let me hear from Tanveer Ahmed Mir, because now the local court in Varanasi has put police personnel over there. The area around the Wazukhana has been cordoned off. The hearing comes up in the Supreme Court tomorrow. You're seeing how the political temperature is going up. Is there a sense of inevitability that this seems to be going down the Ayodhya route?
Well, that's, for the honorable judges in the Supreme Court to decide. As far as we are concerned, as lawyers, as officers of the court, what we are seeing is that the suit filed in the court in the Varanasi is for a particular final relief. If that final relief cannot be granted till the 1991 Act holds the field, I don't understand how all the interim applications, appointment of commissioners, any report, any survey, which may today being, spoken as X, somebody speaking on this point on a contrary view, can even be taken to a logical conclusion. What I am expecting, though I don't know the contents of the petition, but what I am certainly expecting from the Honorable Supreme Court judges tomorrow is also to decide the larger issue, which is that whether a suit of this nature can go on when the Act of 1991 prohibits what is claimed in the final prayer of the suit. So tomorrow's argument will be very interesting in Supreme Court. let's wait for that and let's see how it goes from there.
No, because it sets a precedent. If, for example, the Supreme Court allows what's happening in Varanasi to go on, then this could happen in Mathura. On the ticker on our screen right now, there are a whole host of temples being mentioned which were destroyed by Aurangzeb. There are others that were destroyed by other Mughal rulers. This could become endless. So in Ahmedabad or in Aurangabad, where do you draw the line? Does it stop just at Kashi? Because it was supposed to stop at Ayodhya Deepa Ishwar. It didn't stop there. Right now you're saying Kashi and Mathura are important. This could go potentially to other parts of the country, because the fact that Indian temples were unfortunately desecrated and brought down by the Mughal emperors is a reality of India's history.
Rahul,
just one second, Sanjay. Let's give everyone a fair opportunity. You've spoken enough. I want to hear Deepa Ishwar right now.
So Rahul ji, like, what is wrong if it goes on? I'm wondering what is wrong if the exploration to bring out the truth goes on. Why do you consider it communal? Let the truth come out. Let it be. I think every religion should be preserved. The sanctity of every religion should be preserved. So if there is a shivling found there, it should be accepted. I don't understand what is the intolerance from communities that, oh, no, it cannot be sealed, the survey cannot happen. Why? If that's the case, why are we not open to it? I mean, it applies to both communities. I mean, why are we so intolerant towards, accepting another religion? Now, if there is a shivling found there, I don't understand what is the problem. Like you said, if it's Madura next, so it be.
No, but can I just say, when you say the shivling was found there, the shivling didn't appear there. I've been to the Kashi Vishwanath corridor, I've been to the Gyanvapi Mosque. The shivling, if you speak to the pandas over there, they'll tell you that's where the shivling's always been. That's where the Nandi's always been. So it's not as if these emerged all of a sudden and people didn't know. Anybody who's been there knew that this was a temple. It's with them enough visible marks all over to show and suggest this is a temple. The question is, do you leave things the way they are, or do you try and change history?
Yeah, I'm just saying that the shivling happened to be found just to, the news of that came in just today, but then this intolerance towards, from the beginning, to stop the survey, not allowing the videography, all this has been happening from the beginning, which makes me as a Hindu also feel that why is it that when we raise our voice, it's considered communal suddenly? Why are you getting so defensive about it? Go ahead, do the survey. I think that is the core problem of our nation, Rahulji. I think we all should be open to each other. And the same question that you asked, that baffles me. Where are we going to draw the line? Why is it necessary to draw a line? Go ahead, explore, find out what's happening and see what is truth. Let's restore the truth. And if that is making somebody insecure, then that insecurity is the problem of the nation. It's not about we raising the voice. That's what I'd like to say.
The fact that the Mughals came, razed India's temples, constructed mosques in their place, rankles many, and they're the likes of Deepa Ishwar, Anila Singh say
there are several things
the Mughals
about
were in power
temples.
then, the BJP is in power now. It's time to change history. Why are we okay with Indian temples being demolished? We're not okay with that. Their blood boils.
Okay, listen. This change of religious structures is not restricted only to the Mughals. When Hinduism came back after overthrowing Buddhism, plenty of Buddhist temples also were taken over. It's on record that the Marathas attacked Sringeri. There are so many things in our history which are painful. The question is, are we going to be hostages to the past? Or are we going to spoil our future and our children's future debating everything that has happened in the past? Because Aurangzeb did X, therefore, I will do Y to a Muslim who was nowhere related to Aurangzeb. But because I did that Y to that Muslim, then I have avenged history. This is no way to run a nation. Madam, now let me speak. This is no way to run a society. This is no way to run a country. We made an exception for Ayodhya. The Supreme Court operated on the basis that that was a one-off case. Parliament made one exception. Now, unless you have no respect for Parliament, unless you are going to change the law in Parliament, all this is premature. Let Parliament take a conscious decision that we do not care about inflation. We do not care about what is happening as insofar as India's position is concerned. India as a country that values ahimsa and peace over many other things.
that if we want to make India answer to Pakistan, or what happened in Pakistan, we shall avenge in India. If that is the way you want to go, please first let Parliament take the call.
So may I respond?
Yes, Deepa, go ahead.
So see, so I do not understand that talking about a Hindu temple being demolished, how is that in any way giving less importance to inflation? I do not understand. So these are two different topics, and I'm sure our media and all of us are giving equal importance to all of these topics. You're just selectively looking at areas that can be, sidelined. So I think they do not be connected. I think that's just a very weak argument. Second thing that I'd like to tell you is that I'm a mother. I would want my child to debate. I would want my child to question. I would want my child to come out and see, is that what happened? What actually happened in history? Is there something in history that needs to be changed? Why are you hushing down debates? Why are you hushing down questions? I think that is the biggest gift we can give to the generation, the gift of curiosity. Let us be curious to know what's happened. Let's be there to find out the truth and restore the truth. That's what I would want for my child. I do not understand what kind of India
would you want your child to go after Muslims? I
want my child to know the truth.
No. Would you want your child to grow up saying that Aurangzeb did this, therefore it is my duty as a good Brahmin boy to go after everybody who follows Aurangzeb's religion? Is that the India you want to build?
Okay, Sharad Pradhan, your reading of the political situation in Uttar Pradesh, the fact that the Varanasi court puts a police attachment there, blocks out that Wazukhana, how do you see this play itself out in the Supreme Court, in Varanasi and in Lucknow? Sharad?
Well, politically speaking, it's a great time for the BJP, because this is what the BJP wanted and is looking forward to, because the policy of communal divide is what has led the BJP to reach this level. We have seen how they used Ayodhya, now they want to use Kashi, and tomorrow they will use Mathura. First of all, I have a slight objection to the place being referred to as a shivling, because so far it is just a claim. And as a journalist, I can't call it a shivling, because the other side is saying that it is a fountain. And there is a reason to believe that it must be a fountain, because wherever there is a Wazukhana, there has to be water. And, logically speaking, Rahul.
No, but Sharad Pradhan, once again, Sharad Pradhan, surely even you will accept that where the mosque now stands, there once was a temple.
Yes, that one has seen. I have also been there n number of times. This Nandi is no news to me. It has been there. The Shangar Gaudi is no news to me. This shivling, this fountain is being now described as shivling, which was always, the fountain was there open. It was not no secret. It was not anything hidden, which the BJP is trying to describe. But the point is, tell me logically, if somebody had captured some property, for 400 years they have kept it, you think they would have preserved or unwittingly preserved this shivling for all these years? Isn't there a very logical reason for them to have destroyed it if they were a shivling? This is falsehood being built in the name of this shivling. It is very apparent. And, I don't mind the BJP spokesman, because she has to make her brownie points. After all, she has to keep, whenever if you are a spokesman of a party, you have to do your job. It's doing a job. Because if they were really Hindu sentiments, then I would have been happy if the BJP spokesman were raising, I'm not talking about inflation, but issues like rape of women, which is rampant in Uttar Pradesh. The corruption, which is rampant in Uttar Pradesh. I have known BJP spokesmen whose close relatives have been neck deep into corruption in the bureaucracy, but they don't talk about it. When you talk about crimes against women, crimes against children, a Hindu is expected to do that. And as far as the following the law is concerned, the court is concerned, UP government has shown enough, and the BJP has not one reason. There has been countless issues, particularly with that of gang rapes, whether it is Unnao or whether it is Hathras, in particular, where the BJP government refused to abide by the court order until the Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court, and in one case the Chief Justice of India, had to wrap the UP government to shake them up. The Advocate General of UP was castigated in no uncertain terms. Never before has that kind of castigation been done against. Simply
Shashank Shekhar Jha.
Now they're talking of
what are you hoping will happen in the Supreme Court tomorrow? A very crucial hearing in the Supreme Court. How do you think this is likely to play out?
Namaste Rahul ji and other fellow panelists. Since I did not interrupt anyone, I would expect for 2 minutes of sincere silence. Rahul, there are 3 points. I don't think the Supreme Court will interfere much into this today's thing or the appeal which is lying tomorrow, because of the fact that the application has already become infructuous. The application pending before Supreme Court was with regards to the surveyor, and the survey has already been finished. So I do not think that there is much left for the Supreme Court to decide on this particular aspect. Now coming to the other points which has been discussed in this particular debate today.
So, we have a bit of a problem with your audio line. I'm going to try and fix this. But you make an important point. I want Tanveer Ahmed Mir to come in on the fact that the petition before the Supreme Court is essentially to stop the videography of the mosque, which is said to be a temple, but that's already happened. And in that sense, is the petition then infructuous? On a more legal basis, what do you think could potentially happen before the Supreme Court tomorrow?
Well, 2 things, Rahul, can certainly happen. One is that if the challenge is simpliciter to something which has already taken place, that is why, if you recollect, there was an attempt to make a mentioning before the Honorable Chief Justice of India. And upon mentioning done, the Honorable Chief said that, look, we can't do anything right now. We don't have the details. So we will list it before a bench presided over by Honorable Mr. Justice Dhananjay Chandrachud. That's going to happen tomorrow. Essentially, if the challenge is to something which has already taken place, then Shashank is absolutely correct that the motion may become infructuous. But that will not detain the Honorable Supreme Court to look at the larger issue if the lawyers place it into service. That A, whether this survey has happened, in the larger perspective, can this suit go on? Until the wires of 1991 Act are not declared unconstitutional. Or as Sanjay Hegde, who's nothing less than a living legend of law, I can tell you very clearly on a TV program, everybody is entitled to his views. But unless and until the parliament doesn't change the law of 1991, which would then pave way of lot of suits and judicial contests and lists between the parties in terms of a suit filed, which the courts can entertain. Our problem, and my problem especially here, is that how can this suit go on when the final relief is something which can never be granted by the designated or concerned court in Varanasi? Point is, can you grant the final relief if the 1991 Act stays as it is?
No, but you're making such a big deal of that Act. Remember, Sanjay Hegde.
Rahul, I have a quick one-liner.
Remember the fact, Sanjay Hegde, that the BJP has a huge majority in Parliament, and if they wanted, they could change the places of worship.
That is why
it's not that tough to do.
That's what I'm asking them. Take a call. Take a call as to where you want to take this nation. Do you want to take it backward and say that we will reopen everything? Take that call. That is what your voters have elected you for. And if you think the rest of the people in India do not matter, go ahead, do it. The second thing on this infructuous argument, I want to say one thing. So far, there has been no report of the commissioners. Your own news report says that the commissioners are likely to take time. It may well be that the Supreme Court says, do not submit that report. That's one of the options open to the Supreme Court.
So it will be a very crucial day in the Supreme Court because it decides where the Gyanvapi issue goes. If the Supreme Court doesn't put a stop on the survey, then this matter will continue to build. You are seeing the clamour increase, whether it's Deepa Ishwar, Anila Singh, the demand that yes, this is a travesty of history. The Hindu government is in power. They want to change the wrongs of history. And we'll speak to BJP spokespersons over the months to come. The whole idea of the Places of Worship Act, would that be something the current government would be willing to look at? Sharad Pradhan has his finger up. I'm out of time, so I'm going to give you a very quick interjection. Build on the issue of the Places of Worship Act because this government has a majority. They clearly believe that the wrongs of history should be changed. Whether it's Pandit Nehru, whether it is Aurangzeb, this is their time, they believe, to change those wrongs.
Well, all I wish to say is I agree with Sanjay Hegde that if the government wanted to actually build a temple there, they can jolly well do away with the 1991 Act and pass a new act. They are in majority. But they don't want to do it. This is important. They don't want to do it because they want to they vitiate the atmosphere for the purpose of the 24 election.
Anila Singh, do you want to respond to that?
Give it a hype. They want to give it a hype because that is the only way they
why don't you just change the Places of Worship Act?
I really want to. अगर मेरे हाथ में होता तो मैं बिल्कुल कर देती. ये बिल्कुल जाती थी हिंदुओं के साथ. I always say that Hindus have faced wrath of 3 colonizations. Number 1, Muslims. Number 2, Christians, Britishers. And number 3, Nehruvians. And this act is also from one of the Nehruvian, Narasimha Rao. So definitely, हिंदुओं के साथ तो जाती हुई है. But Rahul, I just want to make a very quick point here.
And also
India
Buddhists.
is facing numerous threats.
India is facing numerous threats from such directions like Pakistan and China on the political front, but also from within by those who prefer to see the demise of Bharat's culture.
I'm out of time on this discussion. We'll track what happens in the Supreme Court very, very closely.
They have to be checked out.
The temperature on this, whether it is the social temperature, the political temperature, the legal temperature is going up. Tomorrow in the Supreme Court will be crucial. India Today will have the best coverage of what happens in the court. On the other side of a quick break, in Maharashtra, war over Aurangzeb and Aurangabad explodes. Details coming up.
Massive meltdown in Delhi's Shaheen Bagh.
A lot of push and shove by the angry locals here.
They are sitting before the bulldozer and the situation is quite tense.
Only channel from the bulldozer's path.
Unlike Jahangirpuri, I can tell you it's complete commotion in Shaheen Bagh.
The only structure that came down.
Bulldozer versus Shaheen Bagh. Uncompromising coverage only on India Today. You are what?
Amid the Russia-Ukraine crisis, Europe saw the world's biggest rise in arms imports in the past 5 years, a trend set to accelerate following recent rearmament commitments. How are arms traded across the world, and what is this industry's worth? International trade in conventional weapons is worth an estimated $100 billion annually. The industry's products range from light weapons to warships and military defense systems. Nearly 40% of arms exports originate in the United States, but Russia, France, China and Germany are also major suppliers. Europe shows the strongest growth in trade, 19%, a trend that should consolidate with the new Russian threats. Widely accessible weapons cause suffering and destruction. A global treaty aimed at reducing the irresponsible transfer of conventional weapons came into force in December 2014. Its strict criteria controlling sales aims to ensure participating countries avoid breaking international embargoes and reduce the number of weapons used for genocide, war crimes, or terrorism. Many of the 130 signatory countries, including the US, have still not ratified the arms trade treaty, while Russia and China have not even signed it. The International Committee of the Red Cross says there is still a discrepancy between political commitments and the ease with which arms are transferred to actors who do not respect international law.
When it's the world's biggest news story, there's only one gold standard of journalism.
You are watching
Meanwhile, there's a war over Aurangzeb exploding in Maharashtra. Days after AIMIM chief Asuddin Owaisi's brother, Akbaruddin Owaisi, paid a tribute to the Mughal ruler by visiting his grave, former Chief Minister and BJP leader Devendra Fadnavis has lashed out, accusing Uddhav Thackeray and the Maharashtra Aghadi government of not taking any action against Owaisi.
अरे ओवैसी सुन ले, कुत्ता भी ना पेशाब करेगा औरंगजेब की पहचान पर.
Former Maharashtra CM Devendra Fadnavis declaring war over Mughal ruler Aurangzeb. Targeting Owaisi Jr. Akbaruddin, who recently offered prayers at the tomb of the Mughal ruler in Aurangabad. Indirectly targeting the Uddhav government for allowing what BJP says worship of a tyrant who persecuted Hindus and broke their temples. Fadnavis mocked Uddhav government, saying it should be ashamed of its stand on Aurangzeb.
औरंगजेब की समाधि पर वो असदुद्दीन ओवैसी जाता है और माथा टेकता है और तुम देखते रह जाते हो. अरे ओवैसी सुन ले, कुत्ता भी ना पेशाब करेगा औरंगजेब की पहचान पर. अब जो भगवा लहराएगा पूरे हिंदुस्तान पर.
देश में औरंगजेब के नाम पे सड़क, तो बाबर के नाम पर, किसके किसके नाम पर. ये आक्रांता थे, आक्रांताओं के निशानी को उसी समय मिटा देना चाहिए.
The Aurangzeb jibes on the Uddhav government continued, with top Sena Betar and Amravati MP Navneet Rana opening up a barrage of attacks.
यही बाला साहब ठाकरे रहते तो उसी मजार के अंदर, उसी कब्र में उस व्यक्ति को गाड़ के दिखाते कि हिंदुत्ववादी और छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज को मानने वाले लोग आज भी महाराष्ट्र में जिंदा हैं. And that Uddhav Thackeray has not spoken a single word on this.
Slamming Fadnavis for his provocative remarks, Srinagar's mayor entered the controversy and paid glowing tributes to Aurangzeb. PDP chief Mehbooba echoed the sentiment.
हमारे मुल्क में जो टूरिज्म है 50% तो इस वजह से आता है जो मुगलों ने हमारे यहाँ अपने असासात बनाए हैं, अपने तामीरात किए हैं, उसको देखने के लिए आते हैं. 50% लोग हमारे मुल्क में सिर्फ ताजमहल देखने को आते हैं.
The BJP is trying to upstage the Shiv Sena-led government, calling it soft on those glorifying the Mughal emperor, who killed Chhatrapati Shivaji's son Sambhaji Maharaj, and imposed religious taxes like jizya on Hindus.
Fadnavis said the MVA government has nothing but only resorted to Mafia Raj in this country. This comes in the wake of the upcoming BMC elections, which will happen in October this year.
With Devamish Kotak, Bureau Report.
Former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Farooq Abdullah has blamed the Kashmir Files movie for creating hatred in India. He said that the atmosphere of hatred against Muslims was creating anger amongst Muslim youth in Kashmir. The BJP and the Congress hit out at Abdullah. Here's more.
जो मुसलमानों पे जुल्म हो रहा है इस वक्त हिंदुस्तान के कोनों में, वो हमारे बच्चों में भी एक लहर पैदा कर रहा है. ऐसी चीजों को बंद करना चाहिए.
A shocker from NC patron Farooq, blaming the Kashmir Files movie for surge in targeted killings of Hindus by Islamist terrorists in Kashmir Valley. claiming that the hate portrayed in the movie is making Kashmiri Muslims angry.
कश्मीर के मसले का एक ही हल, अल जिहाद।
Prescribing an immediate ban on the movie to save Kashmiri pundits like Rahul Bhatt, hunted and butchered by terrorists recently.
ऐसी चीजों को बंद करना चाहिए, इस मीडिया को बंद करना चाहिए जो मीडिया इस वक्त नफरतें फैला रहा है सारे हिंदुस्तान में। अगर आपने हिंदुस्तान को बचाना है तभी कश्मीर बचेगा।
Son Omar meanwhile mocked the plight of Kashmiri pundits, branding them as BJP voters and therefore suffering.
बीजेपी के अलावा देखते नहीं थे, वो हमें आके मिलते थे, हमारे फंक्शनों में बैठते थे, लेकिन जब वोट डालने की बात आती थी, वोट हम आपको नहीं देंगे। हम जब जाते थे जफ्ती उनके कैंपों में, बाकी जगहों में, वो सीधा कहते थे ना, ठीक है हम आपसे मिले, 2-4 बातें भी हुई, लेकिन वोट हम आपको नहीं देंगे, वोट हमारा मोदी जी को जाएगा, वोट हमारा बीजेपी को जाएगा।
The Shiv Sena made a common cause with the Abdullahs, blaming Kashmir files in part of the slaughter of Kashmiri Hindus.
फिल्म कहीं ना कहीं हमने कहा है कि कहीं ना कहीं कुछ हद तक फिल्म भी जिम्मेदार हो सकती है, क्योंकि वो पुराने जख्मों को फिर दोबारा से खुरेदा गया है जो नहीं होना चाहिए था।
The Kashmiri Pandit community and the crew of the movie were outraged, calling it a defense of genocide.
Such an irresponsible statement, because tell me which film was responsible for all the killings till now? Kashmir Files is the latest film which is only exposing the truth. That means they're saying us blatantly that we should not be speaking our truths, right? And also half separatists like Dr. Farooq Abdullah, their role must be investigated.
The BJP and Congress too hit out at the Abdullahs, accusing them of offering kid gloves for radical Islamist jihadis.
They were made refugees in their own country by an agenda of a certain set of people. They were murdered, women were raped. What all happened, the atrocities are unimaginable. That is real. That is the truth.
जिस तरह से कश्मीरी पंडितों की कश्मीर में हत्या की जा रही है और ये कहा जा रहा है कि ये सिर्फ कश्मीर फाइल की वजह से हो रही हैं, तो हम इस तर्क से बिल्कुल भी सहमत नहीं हैं। हम इस तर्क को सिरे से नकारते हैं।
The genocide of Kashmiri Pandits and subsequent exodus in 1990s was one of India's most painful moments. Is it fair to blame a movie which merely portrays their horrific ordeal?
As the politicians continue to rub salt on the wounds of the Kashmiri Pandits, justice remains a distant dream for the displaced community. With video journalist Neeraj Kumar, this is Sunil Bhatt reporting from Jammu for India Today.
This is where I wrap up the Newstrack tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.
You have the lightning, you have the TikTok music, you have snacks, you have all the things we like. You don't have like 90s era or 80s era. You have the 2020 era, and I think that's good.
I mean,
It is a big part of our society today, so why not try to make it more creative? I mean, here you find a place for children. Maybe all children aren't interested in going to a museum of history or art, but this is a place where they can come to like a museum-like space at least and be creative.